Call me crazy if you want, many have, but I thought you might like a little glimpse at the Camp Nou under construction. There's a reason for that, in fact, many. They call them Los Rolling here. They mean by that the Rolling Stones. I said to you in earlier videos that, and by the way, this broadcast is brought to you by faulty mics, which caused last night's recording from Montjuic to disappear altogether. But I said to you in an earlier broadcast that Barcelona had anticipated playing in that stadium, and I hope the microphone's good enough to pick up the constant banging and beeping and shouting that comes from building sites the world over. Barca had expected to be playing in that stadium last November. And for that reason, they didn't book the Olympic Stadium in Montjuic for anything past March. Now what they find is that they've got definitely a last 16 game in March in the Champions League because of their accumulated results in this new format of the Champions League, including the tension-ridden 2-2 draw with Atalanta on Wednesday night. They've definitely got a game in March, which they should be able to play in Montjuic, no problem. But UEFA's rules say that in the second stage of the competition, if you go forward game by game, round by round, you must play in the same stadium as you started in. So if they begin in March in Montjuic, they cannot suddenly say the Camp Nou is fixed, or the Camp Nou fixed is that blah blah blah. You know the Camp Nou ladies sing this song, do da. So what the problem was that because Barcelona hadn't reserved Montjuic's Olympic Stadium from March onwards, there was a booking in May, or a reservation in May, for the Rolling Stones to come and play part of the European tour there. Out of the blue, and remember it was the Rolling Stones who were sponsoring with their logo the Classical last season in Montjuic, with Mick and Keith and Ronnie turning up to watch Madrid win, Bellingham the winner. The Rolling Stones seem to have said, we're not playing either in Barcelona or in Europe in May. So Barcelona has, as of today, sent in a request to the town council based commercial company that runs Montjuic, saying, hey, we want this until May, June. Can we have it? It looks like the answer will be yes, but neither are they renouncing the idea of playing league games in that stadium, which is a pure building site. It seems to me to be extremely over ambitious, but I suppose Parallel Lines, a super album, 1977, Debbie Blondie, as Rowan Atkinson used to call her. Parallel Lines, maybe you play all your Champions League matches. How many more they've got, I don't know, because the odds favourite being Paris Saint-Germain for the second time in a season. If it is that one, I'll let you into some of the secrets from the documentary we made with Luis Enrique and how that tie last season almost bust his coupon and his family's. Born in Asturias, played for Madrid, coaching Paris Saint-Germain, but he's a culé. He's a Barca fan, Barca socio. He still aspires to coach this club, and it nearly did him in last year, doing Barcelona in 4-1 in the second leg for a 6-4 winning aggregate, having been 4-2 down. So, will they go one beyond that PSG tie, if that indeed is the side that emerges through the playoffs? Let's talk about that a little bit later. Meantime, my producers and editors said to me, Marcus Rashford, tell us about him. Rashford, it is plainly known, has aspired to play in Barcelona, or, brackets, live in Barcelona, for quite some time now. His days at Manchester United, productive days at least, are over. There's been a massive falling out of love. I think much of what Amorim is saying is true, that Rashford is not training at peak, and therefore why wouldn't United try to get rid of him? The market's about to close. There's only a couple of days left of the market, and the incessant bombarding of Barcelona by Rashford's agents saying, bail us out here, do a man a favour, take him on, will you, has found an audience at Barcelona which I don't think will necessarily take Marcus to this club, certainly not in this window, even on loan, because they're so dedicated to getting their financial books in order with La Liga, which has included renewing the contracts of Ronald Araujo, Gerard Martin, and as of today, Pedri. Great business to be done, but do they have the financial wriggle room, not the finances, they do have the finances, but do they have the financial wriggle room with La Liga to take Rashford on and pay the majority of his wages, which is what United under Radcliffe want? I don't think they necessarily do. Also, it's dream world. It's the kind of message that Barcelona got from Lewandowski. Between the lines, he was saying, come and let me have a nice life in Barcelona in the latter years of my career on huge money, and I'll knock in a few goals. Rashford, when I met him and interviewed him at length twice, I liked him. Things have changed. He's not the same fella. If you're a football club that thinks we'll get a bargain and maybe make a television series out of it on BBC One for the afternoons, the bargain hunt in football, part of that includes find an asset which is undervalued and then dust that asset off, make it shine, and lo and behold, you're called market geniuses. I'm not convinced that that's the right attitude for this club to take with Rashford, but that's what's going through their head. If he wants to come here, they're thinking, can we get him at a low price at a time when La Liga will clear the deal, and can we bring him to life again? If he's genuinely training listlessly and badly and his attention isn't on his profession and his sport, this is not the place for him. Neither Flick nor the young leopards, the young aggressive athletes of this squad will accept him. If it's Marcus Rashford saying, I'm going to unleash all my potential, I'm going to show what it is, show Lewandowski what it is to be able to run beyond a high defensive line, I'm going to win things aerially, I'm going to be the other Ferran Torres, the other deputy for Lewandowski, and score goals and pay attention and live up to my potential, hell, not many clubs in the world would turn that down. But how do you work out that your plonker's not been pulled? Tough one for Barcelona. In the meantime, my advice to them would be get everybody working hard on this stadium, get your heads focused for Paris Saint-Germain in March, and I'll pass on two things from last night's game at Montjuic. One, when Lamine Yamal was substituted with about 2.5 minutes left, he was so pissed off. It reminded me of the young Messi when he was taken off. Lamine Yamal was chewing a wasp. He was so angry. 2.5 minutes is all he lost out on. Flick took him over to try and console him, and he wasn't having a bit of it. His body language was, get your fucking hands off me. By the time I interviewed him, about 15-20 minutes later for the Player of the Match award, short staccato answers, body language saying, I'm still pissed off. And the other thing which stood out was Flick and his staff are tired. I have a friend who was over here in the last couple of days, went out to dinner with one of Flick's staff, and he said, look, it's lovely working for this club. We're doing well. We're working our arses off. Life is good in some ways, but in all the 7 months we've been at this club, my family and I have seen the Mediterranean Sea once. Now, athletes need rest, but so do staff. Mentally, staff need to be able to have a family life, and they need to be able to relax and enjoy their surroundings the way that the players definitely do. Flick and his team are not able to do that. So when Flick in the press conference said, one, when the next round, i.e. the knockout round comes by, I'm going to be sitting on my sofa, enjoying watching what the many big teams that are in this knockout round do. I'm going to be sitting on my sofa. Two, the biggest premium that he thinks of, not the club because the money is essential to the club, the biggest premium he thinks of is in February my team can have time off either to rest and relax in midweeks or to do extra teaching, training, proper training ground work. And he said that like this. It's January, turning February, and everybody in La Liga is getting creaky. How they're all going to last out, physically, mentally, athletically, in terms of their get up and go until May, fuck knows. But I will, so will you. Stay tuned.